Last Tuesday, I had a full workday ahead of me. Email triage, a research brief for a client pitch, meeting prep for tomorrow's call, content calendar for the month, a data analysis I'd been putting off, 8 tasks that would normally take me 3.5 hours. I gave all of them to GPT 5.5 as a single agentic task, told it to handle them end-to-end, use whatever tools it needed, and report back when done. By 10:30, most of them were finished. I spent 22 minutes reviewing the outputs, 22 minutes for work that would normally take me 3.5 hours. That's what I want to walk you through today. Because GPT 5.5 isn't a smarter chatbot. It's something fundamentally different. And if you're not using it as an agent yet, you're leaving massive productivity on the table. First, let me be clear about what's changed. For the last few years, we've used AI like this. You ask it something, it responds, you ask again. ChatGPT, Claude, they're conversational, helpful, sure. But you're in control of the loop. Agentic AI is different. You give it a goal, a complex, multi-step goal, and it figures out the path. It plans, it uses tools, it checks its own work, it iterates if something didn't work, all without asking you at each step. GPT 5.5 launched on April 23rd, and this is what it's built to do. OpenAI is calling it agentic reasoning. What I'm calling it is game-changing, because the constraint that used to exist, AI can only do one thing at a time, and you have to supervise every step. That constraint is gone. It can browse the web. It can write and execute code. It can read documents you upload, cross-reference them, synthesize patterns. It can connect to plugins and integrations. And it can do all of this in a single coordinated task. You access it in ChatGPT if you're on Plus or Pro, or via API if you're building something. For this video, I used ChatGPT Pro, which gives you priority access and higher usage limits. Here's what I tested. Task 1. Research brief. I needed competitive intelligence on a client who's launching a productivity tool. I gave GPT 5.5 this prompt. Find the top 5 competitors in the productivity tool space. For each one, research their current pricing model, market positioning, and what I would identify as their key weaknesses compared to a new entrant. Format this as a comparison table with columns for company name, pricing, positioning, and weaknesses. Make it detailed enough that I could use it in a client pitch deck. I gave it no sources, no links, just that instruction. It went to work. I could see in the sidebar that it was opening tabs, reading pages, cross-referencing data, took 4 minutes total. Here's what came back. A comparison table with 5 competitors, pricing current as of April 2026, positioning statements that matched what I'd expect from their marketing, and genuinely useful weaknesses. Things like Notion's weakness in robustness for enterprise teams, Asana's friction in free-tier conversion, that kind of insight. I would normally spend 45 minutes on this, reading industry reports, checking pricing pages, synthesizing across them. GPT 5.5 did it in 4 minutes, and the quality was good enough that I used it directly in my deck. Task 2. Email triage. I have a plugin that connects ChatGPT to my Gmail. I gave GPT 5.5 this instruction. Read all unread emails in my inbox. For each one, draft a reply in my voice and tone. Mark which ones are genuinely important, which are low priority, and which are spam or automated notifications. For important ones, draft substantive replies. For low priority ones, draft brief acknowledgments. I'll review before you send. This is where I was curious about tone. Because email is personal, and AI can write a professional reply, sure. But can it match your voice? Out of 12 emails, GPT 5.5 drafted substantive replies to 8, brief acknowledgments to 3, and marked 1 as spam. I reviewed all of them. I sent 10 without any edits. 2 needed rewrites. 1 email to a prospective client needed more warmth. Another was a bit too formal. But 10 out of 12? That's strong. Time comparison. Normally, I'd spend maybe 30 minutes on email triage and drafting. This took 15 minutes of my time, including review. Task 3. Meeting prep. I have a client call tomorrow about Q3 strategy. I gave GPT 5.5 3 documents, our Q2 performance report, the client's current goals, and notes from our last call, and this prompt. Read these 3 attached documents. They're from my client, our last meeting, and our recent performance report. Write me a 1-page briefing on what I should cover in tomorrow's call about Q3 strategy. Include 5 talking points that directly address their goals and our performance. 6 minutes later, I had a briefing. One page, clean formatting, 5 talking points. Let me read you 2 of the talking points, so you can see the quality. Point 1. Q2 showed a 23% increase in engagement, but conversion stayed flat. For Q3, we should test personalization features in the onboarding flow. Your goal was better retention, and the data suggests that's where the friction is. Point 2. Your team mentioned they wanted more integration options. We've built 3 in Q2. In this call, I want to understand which tools you'd prioritize next. This is a quick win for you and directly supports your Q3 roadmap. These are substantive. They're using data from the documents. They're actionable. I walked into that meeting feeling prepared, and I spent 6 minutes on prep instead of the usual 25 or 30. Task 4, LinkedIn Content Calendar. I uploaded 3 recent blog posts and asked GPT 5.5 to turn them into 5 LinkedIn posts, scheduled across 2 weeks, in my voice. It came back with 5 posts. I used them as my baseline. Usually, I have to rewrite 50% of AI-generated LinkedIn content to match my voice. With GPT 5.5, I rewrote 1. 4 were usable as is. They were the right length, the right tone, and they actually referenced the original posts instead of just rehashing headlines. Then Task 5, Data Analysis. I uploaded a CSV with 3 months of sales data and asked GPT 5.5 to identify trends, anomalies, and give me 3 actionable recommendations. It came back with trend. Deals from the enterprise segment are 35% larger, but take 40% longer to close. Anomaly. One deal in March was reopened and closed for 60% less than the original value. Recommendations. Focus new sales effort on mid-market segment, where deal size and close time balance well. Implement a 60-day limit before reopening deals. Create a retention playbook for customers post-close, all in 3 minutes. That's work that would usually take me 45 minutes. Pulling data, running pivot tables, thinking through what it means. Now, I want to be honest about what didn't work, because if I sell this as perfect, I'm lying to you. 2 of the 12 emails I mentioned, the ones I had to rewrite, they missed tone in a specific way. GPT 5.5 leaned too formal when the original tone was casual and warm. It's not a failure exactly. It's a reminder that you still have to review. You can't just hit send on everything. The data analysis missed an anomaly I noticed myself, a customer segment that moved from low value to high value mid-quarter. GPT 5.5 didn't flag that because the raw data was messy. It requires more context to interpret. So again, you're not removing your judgment. You're shifting it. You're no longer doing the grunt work. You're reviewing and validating. And one of the 5 LinkedIn posts needed rewrite. It was technically good, but it sounded a bit generic. Didn't quite land my actual voice. Here's what GPT 5.5 actually is. It's a profoundly capable assistant that can handle the boring parts of your day. The research, the drafting, the synthesis, the data pulling. But it's not replacing your judgment. It's amplifying it. You're trading 3.5 hours of toil for 22 minutes of review. That's the real value. If you're interested in testing this yourself, here's how to actually get started. Step 1. Subscription. GPT 5.5 is available in ChatGPT Plus, that's $20 a month, and ChatGPT Pro, which is $200 a month and gives you more usage. For most people, Plus is where you start. You'll have access to GPT 5.5 in the web interface, and you can use it immediately. No setup beyond signing up. When you open ChatGPT, you'll see a model picker at the top. Select GPT 5.5. Start with one type of task, not your entire workday. Pick something repetitive. Email triage, competitive research, data summary, something where the output is clear and you can verify it quickly. The key is how you write the prompt. You're not asking a question. You're giving an assignment. Don't say, help me research competitors. Say, research the top 5 competitors in this space. For each, find current pricing, positioning, and weaknesses. Format as a comparison table for a pitch deck. That's an agentic prompt. You're telling it what the finished output looks like, and GPT 5.5 figures out the steps. Step 3. Add integrations. ChatGPT connects to Gmail, Google Workspace, Slack, Zapier. If you want it to read your actual email or pull from your spreadsheets, connect those first. Start small, verify quality, then expand. GPT 5.5 isn't a drafting tool anymore. It's a completion tool. You give it a direction, and it gets to done. For managers, consultants, and founders whose day is synthesis and decision-making, this changes how much time you get back. You still review, but you're not doing the grunt work. Subscribe for more real workflows you can implement this week. Next video, I test GPT 5.5 on a full client project. See you then.